Vendor of sweets. So let's look at the characterization. Now, when we look at this novel or any novel or story, we know that there are two types of characters, major and minor characters. So who are the major or the main characters? The protagonist or the main character is Jargon. And then Mali is also a very important character. But basically, the novel is about Jargon and his life challenges and problems and fears and how he goes on in his life. As minor characters, we come across a lot of other characters such as the cousin, Ambika, Grace, Ambika's parents, the people in the neighborhood or in the Malgudi town, like the person who owns a printing shop called Nataraja, etc. So both major and minor characters are very important for the development of a story, and especially minor characters help the story to be developed along with the major characters. And also minor characters are important to flesh out the main characters more. For example, let's say Jargon. So in order to flesh out that character, in order to show that character in diverse situations, in different situations, we need minor characters. So main characters are helped by the minor characters to go ahead in the story. The story or the plot develops with both major and minor characters. So in a novel, we need to have a special focus not only on the main characters, but also on the minor characters. So here, especially referring to the major character, Jargon's life is very important. At the beginning, we see how this character behaves. What are his ideas, beliefs, expectations, and in every situation, his character is fleshed out. At his house, later on in his shop, and then with his son, outside with other people and friends and customers. Later on with Chinnadore. So in different scenarios, his character is fleshed out. So we get to know a very good view, kind of, in and out of the main character. Right? So moving on, after knowing about the major and minor characters, let's think a little bit about the qualities or the characteristics of these characters. So Jargon especially has these characteristics: traditional, religious, simple, values Indianness, peculiar or has strange habits, preference for natural things such as herbs, believes in natural cure and care, like he believes in Margosa and medicine. A hard-working person, genuine, sometimes hypocritic and cunning when needed, especially in business, hates the Western culture and its lifestyle, like using a toothbrush, shaving, using a mirror every day, and also eating beef, having a Western life, etc. And he is a good father and a husband, even though that's not understood by others. A good follower of Gandhi. He lacks a commanding personality as a father, or in other words, he can be seen as a kind of a cowardly father, because he does not talk against or blame Mali, but does out of love. He tries to keep his dignity when Mali behaves in an inappropriate way by evading the questions raised by the neighbors. And he is patriotic. He loves the past. He respects elders. A vegetarian, very sensitive character, kind-hearted, deeply concerned about the motherland, believes in non-violence, money-minded at the beginning, but later on gives more priority to spiritual development. So this is Jargon as we see in the novel. Moving on to Mali's character, these are the main characteristics we can find. He hates the traditional ideas, has modern ways, no respect for the father, no love or respect for the motherland, values only Western things and ideas. In other words, he has a Eurocentric perspective. He's not hardworking, he's just managing, organizing, getting the help of others, basically good at planning. Like speed, expects luxuries in life, insensitive to the father's hard work and feelings, stone-hearted and determined to complete what he wants, an ambitious young man. Right, and he is also very selfish. Based on materialism, neglects or evades customs and traditions, money-minded relationships also depend on money or in any benefit. Even from the father, he expects money. Maintains an image as of a celebrity. Even Jagan was going to call him sir once. Never repents for the wrong things he does. That's why Jagan finally believes that at least I suppose imprisonment will teach him a good lesson. Never likes to listen to others' ideas or advice. He thinks he is correct. Others should come to him and consult him and get his service because he is a great person with good education. That's what he believes. So in a way proud. Obstinate or disobedient character. Does not try to understand the father. Just, cynically looks at him. Ridicules others like the father also sometimes. When the father does not understand certain words, he laughs. He doesn't even want to explain much. So sometimes very cynical, ridiculing at others. So ridiculing others is not a good thing. Different people have different exposures and understanding. So this is what we get to know about Mali. Moving on to the cousin, these are his characteristics. He knows everything happening in the neighborhood. He helps everyone without expecting anything back. He's famous for and is good at social work. So if someone wants to go somewhere, needs consultation and advice, some help, he is ever ready to give it. Carries latest news about Mali and America around the town and also any other news. He's a good listener, especially to Jagan as a friend, and he is a mediator between Mali and Jagan, appreciates others like he always appreciates the good qualities of Mali. He's trustworthy, especially for Jagan. And when you compare him with Jagan, the cousin seems to be, looking at everything with a matured personality, with a practical mind. Like, for example, when Mali's issue of being unmarried comes, he says simple, let's take them and make them married at a temple. And if Mali is unwilling to get married, okay, let's find a new bride for him. So very practical. He can be ironical and laugh at the stinginess or kind of, greediness for money of Jagan when he says, I don't even use salt much. And he also seems to be very wise in matters related to personal relationships. So he understands others, he takes time and analyzes issues and gives responses, help, assistance, and any advice needed by the people around him. So he is a good friend indeed for Jagan as well as for the other he associates. So this is what we get to know about the cousin. Let's move on to Grace. Grace seems to be good and kind-hearted, and she's very good at adaptation. Being an American girl, still she adapts into the Indian culture. And she's ambitious. She wants Mali's business to grow. She's faithful to the husband, even though he does not become faithful to her, and continues the relationship. She never criticizes anyone, even Mali. She does not criticize much. She just moves away when he does not want her. She maintains good relationship with the father-in-law. When needed, she can be cunning because even Jagan said, I don't know. I wonder whether she's laughing and helping me not to grab my money. So there can be some truth in it. She maintains the house in a neat and tidy way, and her behavior and ideas are westernized. She's honest, genuine, never causes problems to others, seems to be good in making friends because finally she moves to stay with the Indian friends. And above all, she's pretty and attractive. So that's what we see from Grace. Moving on to the last character that we are discussing, Ambika. She's traditional, respects the Indian culture, especially she also got married from a traditional marriage and did everything according to tradition. She's religious and even went and prayed for a son when there was a problem. She always listened to the adults, but sometimes she got angry, blamed the mother-in-law, rebellious when needed, even for the husband. She blamed, criticized when things got aggravated at home, when they did not have a child, with the mother-in-law, when the salt issue, putting so much salt, that issue came up, etc. But normally she seems to be a kind, innocent, loving character, but she's individualistic. She loves the kid as a good mother, and that's why always Mali came running to treat her during her last few days. She hated Jaga's peculiar habits, such as slipper making process, which was stinky. She represents a traditional daughter-in-law and fulfills all the household activities, attends to the husband's work, and also she wanted him to develop career-wise and also career-wise, especially education-wise also. So let us say education-wise. So because the father even blamed Ambika, she should be sent home if Jagan does not study well. So always attends to the husband's work and expects his development education-wise and in everything. She was the light of the house and the family, and after her the relationship of the son and the father was really negatively affected, right? So that is what we see from Ambika. So these are the kind of the main character, Jagan, and the other main characters, or rather they are actually supportive characters, but there are more characters in the novel. If we look closely, they all help for the development of the novel.